Well, I've been asked to stand up and speak my truth. Um, so, this is how I see the reality of our place here on earth, enjoying a physical existence that seems so real, we forget who we are, how Source sees us as an individual selves and loves us even when we make such mistakes as we do, and how we forget to love ourselves as the universe does. A voice in the dark, Lori Elliot. We do not consent. We are divine beings, having fun, enjoying as much diversification of life experience as we can. So heal quickly, learn whatever you can. We are free to be. Now, I had to take a couple weeks off to, I guess, think about everything and then not think of anything, if you know what I mean. It is a beautiful, beautiful world if we allow ourselves to see the beauty. If we would allow ourselves to see the beauty and really allow ourselves to kick in our heart center more, a little bit every day, by doing simple acts of kindness or just simple thoughts, or instead of looking at the typical crap that you got coming up on YouTube or Facebook, dig in, ask for, the latest farming technologies or the latest, positive things, and fill yourself with those positive things, because that's how I want to see the world, isn't it? How you want to see it? I want to see the world where they're finally making machines and gadgets to give us healthy food instead of crappy food. No more chemicals, more natural, remedies and the whole nine yards. I think that's something we all want. I just don't think that we know how to go about letting our fears and angers and, everything boils down to our fears. If we're feeling angry, we feel disempowered somehow. And we just need to adjust and feel the feeling, because it's a natural feeling, but when we're triggered, we need to relax and feel what we're really feeling inside. And then ask ourselves, what is this really? Ask your angels. Ask God. Ask Jesus, Buddha, whoever, Shiva, it doesn't matter. Ask them all. Aliens, you pick. Ask the universe. It doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to be difficult. And there is no just one way to God. Every way is to God. There is no just one pathway. They're all pathways. And it's what you choose. That's what's important. What's important is that you choose something. Choose to believe in something bigger than you that you are such a profound, important part of, that maybe somehow you start to remember who you are, and that we came here deliberately to forget who we are, to deliberately feel all these emotions and this crazy crap. I mean, we did. Trust me, we did. And when I was 12, I think, 12 or 13, I had been church hopping since I was about 8 or 9. And my mother had taught me about Jesus, because she had taught Bible study. And, and my father, he gave me ultimate freedom. I mean, UFOs, aliens, you name it, different religions, everything. I mean, he even had a guru. So I got to explore spirituality. I got to explore religions. I got to explore my own thoughts. So what I did is I would sit in the yard on the ground next to a bush, or usually in front of a tree, and I would sit there and talk to God. And I'd say, you know what, at this point, this was a real turning point for me in my outlook on why we're here and Anyway, the whole 9 yards. So this was a real pivotal point for me. I was told through the Christian churches, because that's where I mostly church hopped, was you can never question God. So the first thing I had to say was, look, I'm really sorry. I know they tell me I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to make you prove that you're listening to me. So, and I was sitting on the far side of the house on a corner, the far side of the property from anywhere from my family. They were on the way other side in the house in the family room. They couldn't hear me. They were listening to football. And so I'm talking to God, and I said, I need you to prove to me that you're listening to me, because this is real important to me. I mean, really super important. And so could you move that flower pot? My mom had a hanging flower pot in the tree. And I waited. I said, I'll wait. I didn't know. I figured he'd, have a wind come through and blow it, or something. That would be moving it, right? Oh, no. Here comes my father 5 minutes later. He goes, what are you doing out here? And I said, nothing. I said, I was reading a book. I go, what are you doing? And he goes, no, I'm watching a football game. He goes, but I don't know, something just kind of, I don't know, I went to go to the bathroom, and something had me come out here. Oh, look at this thing. And he picked it up and he moved it to a different branch. And I go, oh, okay. Okay, well, enjoy your ball game. And he said, okay, see you later. And he told me who was winning or whatever. And he went in, and I waited another 5 minutes. I was so excited. I said, wow, you really moved it. And I said, okay, that's cool. I said, but, I'm kind of like a scientist, and I need a double verification here. So could you move that trash can up there by the road? It never gets moved. It's sat always by my dog's grave. And I waited. Now, I knew my dad didn't like to leave the football game. So I waited a little bit, and all of a sudden my dad's walking. He's walking in front of the house, and he walks out to the road. He moves that trash can about, 3 feet, and he goes, what am I doing? So he turned around, put it back. It was one of the few things my dad ever kept in one place, and it was a trash can, and he just kind of rubbed his head and went back in the house. Now, it's my father that had always taught me that God uses us to do his miracles and to, help with whatever. So you should always listen to God. If the Spirit moves you to do something, do it. Now, I told God, I was so excited. I said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so this is really cool. I said, now I got some really serious questions. And I didn't know how to start. I said, okay, I'm just going to start like this. And I said, I hope you don't get mad at me. But how in God's name do you expect me to make this big choice between good and bad? You and the devil, whatever you want to call it, Lucifer or whatever. Good and bad. How do you expect me to make this choice in one lifetime? Do you know how many emotions there are? How many experiences I'm going to have to feel all these things? I said, I'm tired now, and I'm only 12. And because I'd met so many kids, and I mean, there was emotional gobbledygook from day one, since I was 6 or 7 years old. And I took everything and listened and learned and studied, paid attention. So I thought, I can't take no more. I was only 12. And I said, and then there's another thing. I've been seeing UFOs, and I need to know, I've met some unusual beings that I really can't. Are they angels? Are they, what are they? And then there was something else. Anyway, these were pretty big questions for me. And my dad comes walking out about 10 minutes later as I'm babbling about something silly to God. And I shut up and I look at him and I go, what are you doing? And he goes, I don't know what you're doing out here, but it's halftime. And something told me the books. I was at the bookstore the other day, and these 3 books fell off the shelves. And I went, oh, what are they? And he goes, they're not for me. He goes, I always know that if they thrown off the shelf. I got to buy them because somebody needs them. And I said, okay. And he goes, here, they're for you. I went, oh, cool, thanks. And I just stared at him while I wouldn't look at him. And he goes, I'll see you later. Halftime's almost over. And I said, okay, bye. And I looked at it, and the books were They Walk Among Us, which was Aliens Among Us, and Many Lifetimes. So I learned about past lives, which made more sense about, how am I supposed to experience all this? And then some other book, it's really it's out there somewhere in Never Never Land for me. It might have been Florence Scovel-Shinn's The Power of Your Spoken Word. And so anyway, I said, thank you. So I got I got my answers right there. Now, years later, now I was looking back at that time, and I went ahead because it was so important to me to know that God was listening to me. And I don't care what you call God. You can call God Goddess. You can call God Source. You can call it Universe. You can give it a name. You can call it Jesus. You can call it Buddha. You can call it Shiva. You can call it anything. It's whatever you choose. But I just use God for short. But it was important for me because these were big, important issues for me. And I went, oh, okay, so I don't have to worry about it all in one lifetime. And they do walk among us. And, I have to watch how I speak. So, the thing here is that, it's what I'm trying to tell you, is to express right now, is that the universe does listen to you. It listens. And it will respond if you allow it. Just give it a few minutes, or a week. Sometimes it takes a little longer. What I realize now, because of where I'm at in my life right now, that God knew ahead of time I was going to start asking questions. Because, they know what's in our mind, too. So he must have, put two and two together and got those books before I asked the questions. And so what I'm saying is, if you allow it, there is a greater force that works for us, with us, and will be more than happy, more than eager to start answering questions for you and encouraging you and helping you understand more about who you are and what you are. And you won't get it all in one time. And years later, I finally gave myself to God. And it was the most beautiful experience I ever had. I was taken up in the Holy Spirit. And it is an experience that still makes me cry because it was so beautiful. And there are no words for it. It was like a big white light, and I was taken up in it. And I was everywhere and nowhere. And it was silent, and it was bright, and then it was dark. It was just... and the energy was profound, and it was definitely unconditional love, and I just highly recommend an experience like that for anyone, because it is beautiful, and it'll help you understand that God loves you no matter what you do. He knows you came down here to play. You're here to experience everything that you can. Don't worry, you can't do it all in one lifetime. You get multiple lifetimes to do that. And but the big thing is that there is no guilt and shame, so let it go. We've got laws that take care of bad people. But there is no guilt and shame with you and God. That's a lie. The only thing God would like you to do is love yourself so much that you are unafraid to be your most authentic self. And that is your unique individual self. You don't have to fit in a box with a bunch of people in society. No, That's actually the opposite of what God wanted. God wants you to be your most authentic self. Become alive in the knowledge that you are a divine being playing a role. And but your deepest personality is part of that role. And it's real, and it's part of you, and it's okay. He wanted to experience things the way you experience them, and then how I experience them, and how Joe down the street experiences them, and Betty down the creek experiences them. So be your individual selves as best as you can. You know, find that inner calling that's calling you. That's your soul saying, hey, I kind of like to do this. And it gets louder as you get older. It's quiet when you're young because it knows, but it, hints at things. Sometimes we catch on, sometimes we don't. And God whispers all the time. So, unless you're really out on a limb somewhere and he might yell at you, pull you back in. But it's not a real yell. It's just a loud voice in your head. It says, hey, Lord. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's okay to be you, just who you are. Believe in yourself. Make yourself whatever it is your heart's desire is, and become it. Ask for help when you need it. The angels are, God, we've got so many angels on the planet. It's so cool. And they're always willing to help. And spirit guides and our loved ones that have crossed over, they can hear us too. So please trust that they hear you, they love you, and they're there if you need them. But try to believe that so much that you can let them go a little bit, because they do like doing other things on the other side, and they like helping lots of people if they can. And right now we're going through some really wild times on the planet, and our consciousness is expanding and shrinking and expanding and shrinking. It's getting crazy. But it's a good thing, because we're finally busting through the bubbles that we created that made us small, or made us, like each other, just like each other. We're not just like each other. We're each friggin' different. It's okay. It's a good thing. It helps us expand our horizons and our thoughts and our minds. Helps us see things differently, different perspectives. Just be open enough to learn something. Then you won't be judgmental. And just love yourself, damn it. Love yourself, because God does. And the goddess, and you gotta trust that you were created exactly the way you are, because that's how God and the universe wanted to experience life, through your personality, through your perceptions. And when you get down to it, and you get to the nitty-gritty, we're each light beings that are divine, unconditional love. And we came here to feel and experience physical beingness. And it's a playground. It's a playground for the gods. So play. Remember laughter when you're having real trouble. And just remember, don't take it all so serious. And I get it, because I was a worrywart most of my life, and I've been really close to God, and He's always kind of guided me, and I've always argued with Him, and but He's always loved me, and He's always been there to carry me when I couldn't walk anymore by myself. And He is there for you too, and you need to believe that, no matter what. I don't care what they throw at you, and you have rights. You have rights to stand up for yourselves. You have rights to be who you are and have a decent living and life. And co-create with God. If you go after your dreams, just trust God's got your back. Even if you don't, God's got your back. The universe has your back, no matter how you look at it. So everybody needs to relax, stop being judgmental. Take a good look in the mirror and tell that person and that inner child that you love them. And whatever was missing in your life when you were a child, be the parent that you needed. And a lot of us grew up with alcoholics in the household. Alcoholics do not know how to be one-on-one and personable. Everything's a joke to them. You know how it is. And unfortunately, the one that's usually affected the most usually becomes an alcoholic or a drug addict or, some other kind of character, because they didn't understand what was being done to them or said to them or treated. And get help and learn how to knock it off and stop the progression of this crap. Because we waste an awful lot of our adult lives being something we're not. Because we're trying to fit in. We're trying to just be liked. We're just trying to do what society wants of us. Work 40 hours a week and do this and do that and own these kind of clothes and do this kind of furniture. And oh my God, I just prefer quality, to tell you the truth. I don't like to shop that much. I mean, I love to spend money now and then, but I don't like to shop. So, but anyway, you know what I mean. I'll close now. But I just wanted, somebody out there needs to hear this. And I think a lot more people need to hear it than is let on. So, God's bless and blessings and love. This is Lori out. Bye.